everybody. This is Brett Ingram, and this is the optYOUmize podcast, the show that helps entrepreneurs build their dream business and dream life. Today, we're talking with Matthew Lesko, a high energy, passionate advocate with over 40 years of experience helping Americans access billions in government funding. I'm super excited about this because I remember seeing him on TV. His iconic question mark coat. He's been on Oprah, Larry King Live, Good Morning America, and more. So, with that, welcome, Matthew. Thanks a lot for joining us.
My pleasure. Well, I couldn't get on Oprah today, so I'm here.
Second best thing. I'm just a tad less popular than she is.
Right.
Uh,
And actually, what was bigger than that was home shopping. Yeah, I mean,
really?
I did Oprah a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, but I'd go down to home shopping. I'd sell 30,000 books in a day. I mean,
That's
it's just
amazing.
crazy. Yeah.
I saw that movie Joy about with Jennifer Lawrence about the home shopping
Oh
sort of behind the
yeah.
scenes. Fascinating how that whole business works. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah, it's strange. It's a subculture down there.
yeah, no doubt. So
Yeah.
you've accomplished a ton in your career. Obviously, you're still rocking and rolling, which is super
Uh-huh.
impressive. But I want to start by just rewinding a little bit to the beginning. Can you give us a sense of how you started your career?
Uh, well, I start with failure. You got to unlearn all this shit they teach you in school because it doesn't work for you most likely. But that's the best thing that happened. I got out of the service in Vietnam era, when the draft was on, and so I didn't want to sleep in the jungle, so I joined the Navy. And so I watched the war for a year, and then went to Scotland, where your son is now. Yeah, and his university there is idyllic. And they still walk around in robes on
They
the
do, yeah. Not all the time. You can wear it if you want. You don't
right.
have to, though. Yeah.
But very intellectual. Yeah, it's a fun city too. It's sort of like a small San Francisco in a way. It's sort of, I mean, I haven't been there in, I don't know, 40 years or something, so it's likely changed. But I always want to start a business too. I mean, that was my dream. I mean, I'm the grandson of coal miners that came
Wow.
here, and that was, immigrants was entrepreneuring because you didn't have credentials. So you start your own thing, and that's why the big companies now, at the turn of the century, were all started by immigrants who couldn't get a job anywhere else. And so my dad did that. He didn't have a college degree or anything like that. And he had a little factory, and I hated factory. Oh God, that was like going to the dentist. He made me work there starting in 8th grade. I just hated it. There were no child labor laws then. But I went to college, barely got through, hated school, got thrown out of a few. And just started businesses that were failing. I mean, then I got an MBA in computers back in the 70s. I was a computer science professor at one college here in Washington, D.C., and taking the same course at another college, and just kept my class 1 week behind me. Because back in the beginning
That's
with
awesome.
computers, you just, if you knew how to spell computers, you were an expert. When there's a lot of demand and no talent, then it becomes you need a PhD. Back then, you just needed one class ahead of what you're teaching. And then I started a software company that failed. Must have been the only person in the 70s that did that, thank God. Had another business that failed. And then I started helping Fortune 500 companies. I was in Washington and like research for them. And I would go around Washington answering the question. And these companies wanted to know about getting money for business and growing their business and stuff like that. And they're fat cats. So I'd go, because back then, before the internet, libraries, I don't know if you remember them, but
Yeah.
that's where we got all the information. So I go there, and Washington had more libraries than anybody else because every agency had a special library. So like I remember Procter & Gamble called me up and wanted to start a chain of pasta stores. So I'd go down to the Department of Commerce library and start researching for information and market studies and money programs. And the librarians would say, oh, no, you ought to go down on the 7th floor and talk to Charlie Porter. He studies the pasta business. I just walk upstairs, knock on the door. Charlie's sitting in there having lunch or whatever. and when you find that Charlie Porter like that, the problem isn't getting information. The problem is getting out of his room, because he's been studying pasta for the last 50 years of his life. His wife is sick of hearing about it, and nobody cares. The government forgot he's there, and you have an interest in that. And I would get all these things, and he'd be so excited about something. He'd get these graphs, and he'd put them on the across the window so he could lay one graph for another and say, "See where these 2 lines are? Now this is what's going to happen to the price of it." So I'd take all this stuff, put my name on it to thank Charlie, and put a little, give him credit in the intro, and sell it for thousands and thousands of dollars. And I just spent a nickel. And after doing that for a number of years, that was my first successful business. So I was pretty proud of that. And I just I didn't know. It wasn't a joy helping rich people. And growing up in Wilkesboro, Pennsylvania, I said, God, I didn't know anybody. So I said, God, why doesn't everybody in Wilkesboro know about this stuff? We thought the government was the Division of Motor Vehicles and the IRS and the post office. And that's it. And I said, God, I got to tell people about this. And everybody in Washington is so blasé about it. And so I got an offer to do a book. And I flunked English in college a couple times. So having somebody offer me to do a book was incredible. And did that, became a New York Times bestseller. But I didn't write a lick in that book. See, nothing in the government is copyrighted. So what I was able to do was go to the government printing office, get this book called The Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. They still publish it, and it's online now. And it's the main Bible of the major programs. There's about 1,500 of them. So, and I just took that and cut and pasted it, sent it to New York, to Penguin. They published it, went on talk shows, acted crazy, and it sold the hell out of it. New York Times bestseller. Wow, that was like being on Mars for me.
That's incredible.
So it just kept going, and I didn't have advertising money or do that. Well, doing New York, I didn't make much money when I was a New York Times bestseller list. I said, what occurred to me is, but I figured out how to get on talk shows, and that's how you sell books. You don't have money to do advertisement, stuff like that. There's so many talk shows at the time, and I quickly learned that what talk shows were interested in, not what you say, how you say it. They don't care what you're talking about. They don't read the books. They don't nothing. They're just there to entertain people. So that's what I was, and then I became like a professional guest. Like Larry King, he would call me, and Letterman called me too, when somebody cancels at the last minute. Like I remember Letterman found me in Chicago, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, I need you here. They put me on the plane. I'll go. You're going to give me 7 minutes of national airtime. I'm
right.
there. And it was fun, but there was always a limit if I'm doing books from New York. You get 10%, if that, so there wasn't really money in it. So I felt that what I was doing when I was going on a talk show, my readers were not intellectuals hanging around bookstores, but they had to buy the book there. So they were going to the bookstore to get my book. And I said, God, so I'm giving them my customer. It would be different if they were selling my product to their customers. But I felt that I was giving my customers, and they're getting all the money. I'm getting books. So how do I, as an entrepreneur, say, well, how do I do this and have that? So I publish all the books, or like print 100,000 books, put them in bookstores, and maybe sell them, maybe not. I don't have that kind of money to do that. So what I found is, 800 number. I don't even need a book. I get on a talk show, give them a 900 number, not enough sales, I give them the money back and don't do it. Sort of like a crowdfunding before crowdfunding.
Yeah.
I didn't need a product. But they sold very well. And There's no cash flow problem at all because I got the money before they got the book. Before, I mean, the traditional way, you got to print out these books, put them in bookstores, and maybe sell them. Boy, that doesn't sound too good unless you have a lot of money and don't care. So that did very well. And then infomercials and stuff like that did well. And then it crashed, the internet. But I'm I love the internet. I think it's great, but it certainly cut out the reference book business.
Yeah.
So that died, and I had to figure, well, the information is good. How do I get it to people? And now I finally fell into, by accident. To me, entrepreneurism is trying 100 things and one will work by accident, and then you look brilliant, but you're not. You're just, and that's like people wait for the brilliant idea. You don't know what that is, and even if you did, it probably won't work anyway. And you have to me, entrepreneuring is building. I mean, because we don't know enough about the world and what the world is doing out there, and that's who you have to. To me, entrepreneuring is making love to somebody, and making love to somebody, you have to know their heart. You know, not just, oh, they want to have a lot of sex or something. You know, everybody thinking,
Right.
but it's deeper than that. And so you have, and people don't know how to explain their needs. So you ask people in a survey, and you really don't get the right, because
No.
none of us have the language to really express ourselves well enough. And so how do I get this to them? And by accident, trying a whole bunch of things and everything. There's a community. So we have a community now. It's the best thing I've ever done. I help more people now than ever before. I sold millions and millions of books, but I don't think anybody did anything with the books. I think they're door stoppers because I'm big directors. It's I felt it was like a diet book. You know, we buy diet books up to yin yang, and we're literally the fattest country in the developed world. There's no country fatter than us. We have more obese and overweight people than any other country. We're number one, man. You know what another thing is interesting? Speaking of country number one, I was just collecting some data that we're number one in, hold on, doctor, poverty.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? We're the richest country in the goddamn world. We have more poverty per capita than any other developed country, 17% or so. The average is about 7-10%. Now, how there? But no worries. Guess what? We're almost number one, creating millionaires.
Right.
We create more
Yeah,
millionaires than anybody else in the developed world, and create more people. Man, we are number one, aren't we?
It's amazing to me, though. I have to say, first off, I love your take on entrepreneurship, because I actually did an episode a while back, and I said, about the role of luck in entrepreneurship. And I said, I don't care who you are, how hard you work, how smart you are. There is an element of luck, because there's timing, there's other things that,
Yes,
now the harder you work, the luckier you get. There's no doubt about
that's
that.
it.
But at the same time, if people don't come along when there just happens to be the right circumstances
Right.
for the incubator for what it is they're doing, it's really difficult. And so I think it's important that, as much as we feel self-reliant, we also acknowledge the fact that some things are outside of our control. So
Absolutely.
I look at it as being a professional problem solver. So, it's like, as an entrepreneur, it's one issue after another, whether they're growth related issues or
Right.
survival related issues. We're constantly needing to figure out what it is that we need to do to get to the next step. And I mean, I think it's fascinating, your journey, in the way that you sort of came all the way around, and then you decided at that point you'd also um, switch to helping people be able to get the grants, as opposed to big agencies, because the fact that all this information was out there and it was free and public, I mean,
Absolutely.
and nobody knew, so that's really smart. But also, you were super resourceful, because you pivoted a lot of times to do a lot of different things in order to get to where you are. So
No,
that's
no,
fascinating.
it has nothing to do. Getting a normal job is so much fear. I'm motivated by that fear.
Yeah, no, that's true too.
That's why people say,
It'll
"Well, oh, I'm going to go out and start something." Oh, aren't you aren't you afraid? No, I'm afraid of staying here. That's big fear.
yeah, especially if you're in something that you don't like. There's no doubt
Exactly.
about that.
Like going to the
So yeah.
dentist every day, right?
So how did you? So look, obviously this information was public, and I understand
Right.
in some ways you sort of fell into the idea of getting it because you were being paid by people to do it. But
Right.
nonetheless, there were other people, I'm sure, that had access to the same stuff. So how did you become the go-to expert?
Well,
How did you
I
brand
think it's
yourself that way?
the people who use it are the rich people. See, so they're paying people. I used to charge up to $20,000 for the same thing. I now charge $20. It's the market. See, and that's what I grew up, in business school and everything. It's not like manufacturing, the cost plus profit and stuff like that. All this stuff is air. There's no cost, and it's what you could get is really what it is. So in expertise, it's how much you could fool people, how important it is, or they don't have an option. And that's what, to me, professionals are all about. They have to make you believe that they know the perfect answer so they could charge you the highest price. And in fact, they don't. Nobody can. It's stupid. And to me, that's maybe disrespectful or whatever, but doesn't really help people because they want to give you the 5 steps for success or whatever. And there's no way it's going to work for everybody. I mean, that's stupid. It's like doctors know it, that's why they say, try this, try this. Oh shit, they don't know it works for sure. Yeah, well, our studies show that, 6 out of 125 people do it, so try it. But they don't go that far that it may not work for you. And then when it doesn't work, they sue the doctor or the consultant. Nah, I knew he was an asshole. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah. And instead of helping people along the way to find out what they need, because I think, to me, love is helping somebody else do whatever they want to do. And that's our job. It's not telling other people what to do in life. I mean, what gives the audacity to anyone to tell anybody else to do with their life when we're all struggling our ass off? Nobody knows what the hell to do. They may learn
That's
little bits and pieces here to make it easier for you, but man, we're all guessing. And then we're all different animals too. Different things work. We have different talents or whatever. And to me, a success as an entrepreneur, anything like that, it is taking what you have. What's the best thing you have? And it's hard to do because we go to school, classes, and everything. People telling us what works. It works for them, not you. And that's why the best thing that happened to me was failure. So I thought to myself, God, I'm working my ass off. I hate doing what I'm doing, but I'm convinced that it's going to lead somewhere to heaven someday or something, but I'm failing. So now I hate it. I'm failing. Now this is stupid. I should turn it around. I do something I'm having fun with now. If I success or not doesn't matter because I'm not waiting for that. I'm having fun now.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah.
have to wait
No,
for 10 years, waste a life away that may not happen anyway. So I'd be miserable for 10, 20 years and maybe be happy. Do it
yeah.
now.
It's hard, when we're focused on some destination we think we're getting,
Yeah.
because it's really important, I think, to enjoy the journey. And that's why if we're doing something at least we love and we're passionate about, that in and of itself, there's value in that. And I think,
Oh,
and that's where we're able to impact other people.
yeah.
Like you said, it isn't necessarily the tactics. But the passion and the desire to help somebody else to be able to do something that they want to do,
Yeah.
can be genuine. And I think that's where we're really able to serve other people and make a difference like that. So I know that a lot of people have no idea about government grants. They
Right.
don't know if they're loans. They don't know,
Right.
what does this mean? So can you share some examples of government programs that people
Yeah.
might not know about?
Can you go online right now?
I probably could in the other window, but
Yeah,
I
go
don't.
start another window. Are you going to will lose you if you go another window or not?
I don't think so. I never tried it though.
Okay, try it. See,
All right,
and
where do
go
you want me
to
to go?
findhelp.org.
All right. Find free or reduced
No,
cost
just
resources.
find help,
Yeah.
one word, .org. O-R-G.
Okay.
All the free stuff in America is either .org or .gov. Anything
Okay.
with .com, that's capitalism. They want your money. Even though they're
Yeah,
nice.
it's a search page for finding resources.
Right. Now, put in your zip code up on the left
Okay.
hand.
All right.
See, this is what I call the community. We have two sections in this country. One is capitalism, which in our GDP, that represents about 2/3 of everything. And the other is community. What the community is doing for the community and free, your churches, your government, nonprofit organizations, that's the community part, that where we help each other. So this is a good window into what's there. Are you there into your zip code?
Yeah. There's a couple thousand programs,
Right. Okay. So you got
2,163 programs.
4,000. Okay. Up in the search bar again. Let's say you need to pay your rent. So put in rent up there.
Okay. Oh wow.
How many you get?
Yeah. Let's see. Does it tell me how many? There
And
are
up on the top, there should
60.
be a
60. Yeah, there's
yeah.
60
So there's
resources.
60 nonprofit organizations in your zip code that give out grants and help for people with rent. Who the hell knows that? Maybe
I've never heard of it till
I
you just
know.
shared it.
Maybe you
Yeah.
heard of one and you went to see the problem is you heard of one, you go to that one office that does it. No, we ran out of money or you make too much money. 15 reasons why you can't get it. Okay. But you got 59 other places to do. It's like one customer says they don't want your product. Well, oh yeah, I'll wait till you change your mind. No, you go looking for another guy. And here, see what people are they go to Google, and Google is a swamp infested waters and sharks. If you don't have money, you're dead in Google. Don't even bother. It's like being in a casino without any money. So just stay away and only talk to people with .gov or .org. See, now, even these organizations to me are so important because even if they don't have money, you call them. This is how you get money in our information explosion. You have to rely on people, not the goddamn internet. It's too much. It's a fire hose. You don't know good. But you talk to somebody who's been helping people with their rent problems for the last 10 years. Man, they don't know that shit. No. The ones to avoid where, what new ones are, bad ones. And it's the people that run the information and the people that are part of this community effort, not the money side of the capitalism stuff. Capitalism to stay survive, they have to make money from you. Okay, a lot of people don't have money, and a lot of people need help in growing, so they contribute to capitalism more, and that's what our community does. But the community gets a bad rap because nobody can find them because the capitalism took up all the stuff that would help them find them. So you got to. Now here's another thing for entrepreneurs. This is the only thing you need. You don't have to send me any money. You go to sba.gov. And let's go over there. Oh, by the way, see all the subjects they cover. I mean, you could go to put in job training in there and find probably about 100, 200 organizations that job
Oh
training.
yeah, there's food, housing,
Yeah,
goods,
exactly.
transit, health,
Anything you want.
money, care,
Right.
education, work, legal.
Work.
It's insane.
I
Wow.
know. And and there'll be a couple hundred programs for every one of those topics. And that's just in your zip code.
Yeah, that's crazy. So did you
Okay.
say go to SCA?
SBA, Small Business Administration,
Oh,
uh,
SBA.
.gov.
Okay.
But now you don't want to talk to SBA. They don't have money. You go, you want to use their database. It's slash and then small letters local, LOCAL dash assistance.
Okay.
Okay. You see there something that wants you to put in their zip code?
Let's see. Did that load? SBA.
sba.gov, G-O-V,
Yeah.
/local, and then a dash assistance.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, the zip code is at the bottom.
Okay,
I
right.
was looking near the top. That's
Right.
why I
No, I
didn't see it.
understand.
Okay, search nearby. All right. Yeah, there are. Let's see. It doesn't tell me how many, but there's a whole list of things. A
Yeah, so
couple
you
of
got about a
pages of
dozen or
things.
so, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what every entrepreneur should know about. Don't go to Google, okay, for anything. These are mentors for entrepreneurs or inventors, or you want to start a business, you want to start a nonprofit, you got an invention, you want to invest in real estate, you want to work out of your home, anything. You could get free any kind of help. How to help you get money, how to help you get, they'll know a lot of the grants. No one person will know everything, but it's a good place to start. Again, they spend their life helping people start businesses. That's all they do. They don't charge. See? And that's all they do all the time. So they're going to know somebody who's selling you something. I mean, they may know, but their motive is different. See, the motive here is to help you. Nobody has a motive of getting money from you.
Right.
So you got that off the table. So it's I mean, talking to somebody in capitalism and pretending they're not biased is very difficult.
Oh yeah. Well, and they always want you to spend money to try to make money, and so you always
Exactly.
have to
Right.
question
And
whether or not you're able to do it, and whether the
exactly.
investment's going to be worth it, or you're just going down a rabbit hole.
Right. No. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably not worth it. And I mean, and that's what I mean. And particularly if you don't have any money. See, what happened, what bothers me is that people don't have money, then they're going into debt to get money to pay somebody who promises them, the Holy Grail or whatever. Most likely it's not going to happen, and that's why what you have to do in starting is not spend money. You know, I mean, anybody can spend money. That's easy. And to me, starting a business is learning how to start businesses without spending money, because you're not going to know what will make you money out of the gate. That takes a while. And so, if you're spending money every time it fails, you're going to run out of money before you get the answer. So you can't do spending money. Also, don't spend it on shit you don't need. And if you go to Google, there'll be a whole shopping list of all this stuff you need. You need an accountant. You needed this, a lawyer. You need protection here. All that cover your ass. You don't have a pot to pee in, and you think you're worried about somebody suing you. What are they going to get? And also you have to go with the government. No, you don't have to license with the government. No, if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. So to me, business is number one. All you worry about where you're going to get customers and how you're going to do that. Nothing else is important, because most people will spend all this money on this other stuff. Now let's go get our customers. That's the
It's funny
hardest
you say
part.
that, because even from a product standpoint, I tell people this all the time. There'll be people that they spend so much time, even if it isn't money. Say
Yeah,
they're creating a course or something, and they create the entire thing before they even reveal it at all to the public or to their audience.
I know.
And I say, well, first of all, who are you going to sell it to?
Right.
Where's your audience? The second part of that is, do you know if they even want it?
Exactly.
If you make the outline and you make a couple of the beginning of it, and you share it with some people that would be in your target audience, and they go, "This is awesome," right?
Right.
But okay, great.
That's
If
right.
they're like, "Well, I don't know what I do with this anyway," then you're just going to spend all that time, and then
Absolutely.
also, because you put so much into that product, you're insisting on making that product work. So you go further and further down the hole trying to make something
Exactly.
work, that you can't force a product on customers. They
Exactly.
either want it or they don't. In today's day and age, big
Right.
corporations, well, in some regards they run, but they don't tell customers what they want. customers tell everybody, the companies what
Absolutely.
they want, and you either give it or you don't. And if you don't, they're going to find someone who does.
No,
And so,
they're the only, that's the only advice that's important, not an expert. They're not going to buy your shit. And I remember when I was doing commercials, I'd do them and I'd show them to my friends before I'm putting them on there. What do you think? You know, things like that. Then it occurred to me, these people never bought a thing off of TV. What am I showing them?
right, right. No, it's got to be your audience. Your friends and
Exactly.
family might
But
like your stuff anyway because it's you,
yeah,
or they might be critical because it's you. But either
right.
way, if
Yeah.
they aren't part of your demographic that you're trying to reach,
Right. What I was doing
their
even
opinion
back
is
then, what I would do, because it'd take me a year to write a book, and then I'd write a book and then go out and sell it for a year, doing 50 cities or whatever. And then I started doing ads like in the Wall Street Journal for a book. And I didn't have the book, but I advertised for it, sort of like crowdfunding before crowdfunding.
yeah,
And what I do is put an ad in for the book and get all, that time people sending out checks and crap, but I wouldn't process any orders and send out if it looked good and I say, okay, I'm running a little late and, and I'll finish the book. If it looked like shit, I just send the money back. So it was cheaper, than doing anything else. And now with media the way you have it, wow. You do how to fall in love with a chicken. You can do a website on that and see people interested and just have a community of people that and then dream up products, to sell and keep them happy. Yeah. And that's
yeah,
like,
absolutely. And it's smart to sort of pre-sell it as
yeah,
long as you understand that then you either need to deliver or,
right.
refund people or whatever. But so I've obviously seen you on TV, as I mentioned before, and your high energy, your passionate style, all that stuff is unforgettable. But so is the question mark suit. I got to ask, where'd you get the idea for it? What does it represent?
Uh, well, in my work has always been information, databases and getting information. My theory and for corporate kind of stuff with, you can make the right decisions if you get the right information, but getting the right information requires asking the right question. So if you ask the wrong question, you're going to get the wrong information to do that. And in the last, maybe 5, 10 years, something, in the last, whatever, I feel now that's a sidebar to your heart. Because I feel anything you do in life anymore is a pain in the ass. Anything you do in life is always going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be. And if your heart's not in it, you're not going to make it happen. And the only way to make things happen, your heart has to be in it, whether it's a personal relationship or a business thing that you want to do. And if your heart's there, you'll find a way to get it through and make it happen. It may not be what you initially thought it would be, and that's good because there wasn't a market for that. You were dumb. And it's okay to be dumb. The world is so complicated. No one has an answer, and that's why you trust you. Also, if you're leading with your heart instead of taking other people's ideas, you will learn from that more than you doing it. I mean, I think like kids learning to walk. You have a boy or two or something. I have two, and watching them walk and crawl over the coffee table and pick themselves up, and then take a step and fall on their ass. And they had to do that 100 times, right?
Yeah.
But as an adult, they start to do something like that. Something new, and you say, "Oh, don't do that. You're going to fail," because you're trying to protect them. You love them, right? Yeah. If I told them that when he's trying to walk, don't do that. You're going to fall. They never learn to walk. That's why I think love is helping somebody do whatever they want to do. They're trying to learn, and they have to fail. And that's why I tell you, if your loved ones say, "Don't do that," you're going to fail. Yes. You just stop the conversation. I know. Why argue with them? Because they're right. You're going to fail something. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally.
And that's the only way you grow. And that's why if you have the passion for what you're doing, then you could learn from that failure instead of blaming some expert who told you to do that and it didn't work. So he's the asshole, not you.
Yeah,
So I have
right,
nothing to
right.
learn from him except not give him any more money.
That's funny. All right, so where can people find your Let's Go Help community or connect with you?
Oh, actually, this is what, yeah, end of November. Yeah, my accountant said I can't get any more sales this year. It's a tax issue we have. I got a little smirk in there. Okay. Some people, oh, letsgohelp.com. And that's what we do is a community of, we got 12,000 people now that help each other. This is where I see I could grow this thing because it's not only me. People helping you. They learn this stuff and they, oh, this is fun. How do I do that? And they're excited about helping other people do this. You know, and yeah, and that by actually I had no idea that I was just trying to figure out what would people pay money for, and it looked like I stumbled into the community thing. So people want to be part of something. And then, oh God, if I'm the only person spouting wisdom or sources, at 81, that doesn't look like a long career. Yeah? But all of a sudden, I see, the people got so excited, and also the joy of helping people. So that's why I say, hey, you want to feel some of the joy there is in helping other people, answer the questions. And so we have like 3-4 hours every day of members that are just available on Zoom to answer your questions, how they did it, what they did
It's
to
amazing.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I give them stipends, but it's not. I don't have to hire another Lesko to answer all these things. Uh,
Yeah,
and,
no,
and they,
and it's the sense of community too for people, I think, just
yeah,
nowadays is so valuable.
absolutely. My son works with the not attorney general, not that guy, the surgeon general, that guy. And that's what his number one problem was: loneliness and community as a health concern.
Yep.
And that's what, man, actually, yeah, yeah, he'll be
Yeah,
gone.
we're ironically more connected than we've ever been through
Exactly.
technology, but less
Less.
connected in person. We spend a lot less
Exactly.
time in
Right.
person together, and I think
Right.
that is a big issue. I'll tell you, it's one of the reasons I started the podcast. I mean, I'm not with people in person, but the fact is, I can have you come on, we can have a conversation. It's real, it's
Right.
genuine,
Exactly.
and I think sharing that with people, and also just being able to let other entrepreneurs out there that are
Mhm.
trying to build a business, trying to be successful, struggling, going through that loneliness,
Right.
whatever, know that other people have been there, other people are going through the same thing. I think just knowing that sometimes for people is cathartic and has a really empowering effect. And I know, for me, I was way too solitary in my own journey. And so it's one of the things that I really
Yeah.
wanted to commit to doing because I just think it's so important. It takes a little bit of courage to go
Oh
out
shit.
there on your own and try to do
Oh,
something. And I
well,
think
you
people
get
should
beat up,
be,
man. It's,
yeah,
especially starting
and,
anything. That
and I
that's
think people should be encouraged for it,
yeah.
instead of always beaten down for it. And that's, and that's really the thing. So, yeah, there's
Yeah.
no
And your
doubt.
loved ones say you're stupid, because I know you're going
Yeah.
to fail. It's funny, and I'm thinking about that, and because when I was in the '70s starting businesses, and that was certainly me. And I didn't have a lot of friends. I'm still not a friendly guy. I'm changed now, though. I mean, but I think that's why I was married. I had 2 marriages that failed too. So at least I had someone at home who thought my shit didn't sink when the whole world was telling me it did.
Yeah, it's
And-
important to have that support network for sure. So,
exactly.
yeah, so well, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. I have one last question to ask because I think it's important. I always
Uh,
love to know what everyone has to say, and
uh,
that is, what's your number one tip for success as a business owner or an entrepreneur?
well, right now is your heart is smarter than your brain,
I
because
like that.
that makes things happen. And then more
Yeah,
than your brain. You got the brain inside you. You got 15 reasons not to do this.
yeah, no, I mean that's absolutely true, and I think a lot of times we're really focused on, the analytics and things like that
Yeah.
because those are the things that we're taught to do. But ultimately, so
Right.
often. I mean, how many times have we done something that intellectually we were supposed to do when our gut told us otherwise, and
Right.
then it doesn't work, and we say, I knew this to start with. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, yeah, I actually think that that's powerful advice. All right, with that, it's just about time to wrap things up. I want to thank you so much, Matthew,
My
for coming
pleasure.
on, sharing all your insights, great tips with us. Visit www.free.lesco.com for a
No,
trusted supportive.
freelesco.com.
Oh, just free Lesco?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I know. That's
Um,
I think, yeah, they send you some bad
I
stuff.
think I think it redirects also
Yeah,
because
it
I
does, I
tested the
think.
URL. All
But
right.
but let's go help.
Freelesco.com. Okay.
Actually, it's not free.
Is it
It's
Lesco Help?
letsgohelp.com is the best one.
See, I tried that one and I couldn't get it to work.
Oh,
So I was
really?
like, oh, you know what? I got this one working. So this
Okay,
is the
well,
one I'm
free
going to.
dot let's go. Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, you'll find it if you look him up. But
Right.
free.lesco.com I know works.
Right.
And you can find a trusted, supportive community where members can ask questions, share success stories, find out about free government money, and learn about lesser known assistance programs. I want
Right.
to thank everybody so much for tuning in. And as always, remember no matter what you want from your business and your life, don't compromise, optimize.